We are live and we are going to predict way too early the winners for the 2025 men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, you've seen Alexa Bliss there on the display pick there, but I'll tell you what, early doors, she's not my pick. It's just the fact that so far she's one of two people to qualify this year at the time of recording. She's the only qualifier for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, where for the men's, it is one Solo Sikoa. And myself and Nate Steve are in the hot seat. We're going to pretty much speculate who we'd like to see in Money in the Bank this year, give our early predictions, and then we're going to just turn things over to the live viewers that are watching. If you were live, you can ask us a question. It's that Q&A format that we love to get involved with, things of WWE, AEW, TNA, all that good stuff. Could be up-to-date, retro. You decide. It is your show after all. But Nick Steve, you're in the hot seat. You're with me. And first off, I'm excited for Money in the Bank 2025.
Look, it's a ladder match at the end of the day, and they're always fun, especially when they do multi-man iterations. And it's always good to see what kind of, crazy stuff that they'll do this year. And hopefully they put a couple of the right people into this match that will look to break the boundaries and break the mold of what a normal ladder match is. So yeah, I'm excited for them. I'm always excited for a ladder match and Money in the Bank. And I look forward to what they plan to do with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It doesn't necessarily always work out because they don't like the idea of two stories running side by side over the calendar year for some reason. But the idea that it's a prop and how it should be used is always an exciting prospect anyway. And do you know what I mean? I go back to Baron Corbin win, do you know what I mean? I know Baron Corbin was never successful, but you think what that briefcase is supposed to do for certain people in terms of building character and developing them and being almost their key, their way to the top of the match card. And it doesn't always work out, but fingers crossed they put it on the right person, and it pays off in the end.
Certainly can do indeed. And the thing is, if you look at the women's side of things for the last 2 years, we actually have them as the current champions in WWE. Obviously, Tiffany Stratton is still from cashing in, still WWE Women's Champion. Of course, she successfully retained the championship against Nia Jax this past Friday on SmackDown. And of course, as well, you've got Io Sky, who's the Women's World Champion on Monday Night Raw at present as well. She won the briefcase in 2023. So it has its success stories. Obviously, Liv Morgan as well was another one in 2022. And of course, she's had her ups and downs since then, but she's been a Women's World Champion for a lengthy period last year as well. And obviously, when you go to the men's side of things, recently, I don't think it's been as successful, but obviously, last year, Drew McIntyre won the briefcase, cashed in on the same night unsuccessfully as well. But that played into the narrative perfectly of his storyline at that and his character at that time period. But I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do this year with it. It's a concept that still works for me. Like you say, it's a ladder match. Multi-people win it as well. It's always good fun, always some dangerous high spots that are involved in it as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing who they're going to put in the field. I think that's the thing for me that also gets my interest at this time of the year, because what we've said, we know 2 people in it already, but the field is completely open. We expect to see 6 people in each match. So there's 5 spots to fill in both. We know we've got 2 more qualifying matches that have been announced on SmackDown this past week for next week's SmackDown. I believe the first one for the women's is Charlotte Flair, the newest SmackDown signee, Julia, and of Zelina Vega in the triple threat match. Who would you see winning that at this early stage?
Who do I see or who do I think is winning? Because who do I see winning is Charlotte Flair, man. It's Charlotte Flair. It's very Charlotte Flair thing to do is win Money in the Bank. I think the fact that Vega is the US champion at the minute kind of automatically rules her out. And as much as I'd love to see Julia with that briefcase, it's Charlotte Flair in it. Do you know what I mean? It's so obvious.
Yeah, and she has the storyline starting now with Alexa Bliss as well. Bliss is in the match, so then it can ask the question, will they cancel each other out? What's the dynamic going to work with those two? It makes sense for Charlotte Flair. I think it's too soon for Julia at this particular time, although Byron in-house has already suggested that Julia would win that one, and Shinsuke Nakamura also another pick, because Nakamura is in the men's one that they've mentioned as well with LA Knights and, of course, Aleister Black as well. And do you have a particular favourite to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match this year?
Just remind me, who was in the one the week just gone with Solo? Who was in that one?
So we had Rey Fenix and Jimmy Uso. Big Jim.
Oh, why do I remember seeing Aleister Black involved? Or did he just appear? Or am I thinking about something else from the show?
Probably thinking about something else from the show.
Must have been. Sorry, who is it? Nakamura, Aleister Black, and who was the third one you said? And well, look, I mean, there's 2 out of 3 I want in it. Put it that way. I think 2 out of 3 are. I don't know. I think LA Knight is going to be kept out of it because of the feud that he's got going on outside of Money in the Bank. So I'm going to say Aleister Black.
Nice. I mean, the thing is, as well, gives back instantly into a big program, big PLE as well. Obviously, he's only just returned to the company, so it's something I would like to see. I will say that I think LA Knight is going to go into it purely because of the stuff he's got going on currently with Solo Sikoa, with obviously JC Mateo, of course, Jeff Cobb, and of course Jacob Fatu. And it'll be interesting to see again if it plays into storyline narrative when it comes through to it. But yeah, currently I would say those two would go in.
I'd like to think that they're going to do like last chance attempts for like the third person, because I presume it's going to be free from each show. So I'm sitting there thinking that, like, if Knight gets in this week, I'd want Black to at least have another attempt, and Phoenix to have another attempt as well, because I think they're 2 people that should be in this match because they can bring stuff to a ladder match in general. Whereas I know they're obviously trying to focus on the stories, but I think it's really hard to tell a story with a ladder match, like unless it's a one-on-one ladder match. But if you've got a 6-man, you kind of have to go sort of balls to the wall and just go a little bit crazy and go for the high spots. And you need the people in there like a Carmelo Hayes, a Ray Phoenix, an Aleister Black. Do you know what I mean? Just these people, these cruiserweights or these light heavyweights that can sort of like just do some crazy spots, do some crazy stuff off the tops of ladders, and just elevate the match in itself. Because, yeah, like I said, I think it's hard to tell a story with 6 people in one ladder match.
Yes, certainly can be, which is why it's good to link the feuds together as well. And I love this comment from Byron here, by the way. So Solo Sikoa is now the odds-on favorite. Haha. Probably for a week, and then he'll probably not be. But yeah,
at the minute, because he's the only person in it.
Exactly. But on the Raw side, who's some people you'd like to see enter Money in the Bank? I mean, the first name I think comes to my mind is Penta. I mean, you mentioned Ray Phoenix a minute ago. Penta has kind of like the stock behind him. He's been in WWE now for a longer time period. He's probably got more of the fan base. He's got more of the connection. Sarah Miero as well. I just think he'll be quite cool in that and dynamic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, another person that can elevate a ladder match. I'd want to see Chad Gable in there or El Grande Americano. One of those 2 I'd love to see in it. I know Bron's being heavily favored to be in the ladder match, but I'm kind of like, I know for some reason, a lot of people want him to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I'm like, no, I want someone else. I mean, I know we're talking about Money in the Bank here, but like John Cena has a date with Destiny. And I think Money in the Bank is a great excuse for a babyface to win it this year and to make a brand new star and have someone win that, cash in on John Cena, and make someone like, you need a top babyface mid carder to go on and just beat John Cena for that championship.
Are you suggesting someone like a Sami Zayn?
Yeah, but the problem with Sami Zayn is like, Sami Zayn isn't a new star. You want to make new stars. Sami Zayn can win the Rumble, go on to WrestleMania next year, and it'd be like a fairy tale story. It's you know what I mean? It's one of those things that it's just one of them stories where like he may never be a 5, 6, 7 times world champion, but at least he was a world champion once, and it'll be a great story. But I'm talking about like throwing Obafemi in this match, having him win the Money in the Bank briefcase, having him cash in on John Cena, making a big new star. You want someone fresh. I think that has to be the end goal with this John Cena. I know I'm going off a tangent here about something completely different, but for like, I've been watching loads of videos recently, and it's like Cody Rhodes beating John Cena to take the title back is okay. It's good, but this is your opportunity to make a star. John Cena is the GOAT. Do you know what I mean? He's been around for the longest time. He is the most, like, he's a 17-time world champion. And if you get someone like a Randy or a Cody, yeah, sure, it'll be great. But make a new star. Get someone who's never been a world champion before. Get a new NXT star. Like, who's the Miles kid from No Quarter Catch Crew? Like, he's just got an opportunity to face over Femi. Give him the Money in the Bank briefcase, man. Let him cash in. We got a brand new Randy Orton out there. Do you know what I mean? The baby Randy, whatever it is they call him. Just make a new star, man. I think this is one of the few times where a babyface winning this briefcase makes a lot of sense, because predominantly it's always been a heel item, the lucky cash in, or do you know what I mean, the opportunistic cash in. But this year specifically, with John Cena as a heel champion, a babyface needs to win this, and you need to make someone new out of it.
I like the idea of the babyface winning it, certainly from the SmackDown dynamic as well. The fact if John is going to escape with the championship, that's the way that you could perhaps say he gets that last date, for example. He's won the match, he's going to leave. He says, I'm leaving the last World Champion. You get the toy from here on. That's where the Money Bank cash-in comes in. Obviously, let's say a big star is made, a babyface as well, top babyface of the company feelings. So, yeah, I like the ideas of where you're going with that avenue. However, with some of those names mentioned, especially Miles Bourne, I feel it's far too soon for me in this particular time.
Oh, I know.
Of course, is the NXT champion, but I have a feeling WWE are going to add them star power into these Money in the Bank ladder matches, because they're going to want the star power in there, I think, because of the fact that they only have probably 2 or 3 other matches on the show, if I'm not mistaken, with how WWE currently books their PLEs. So I'm expecting your Punks, I'm expecting your Rollins, I'm expecting Logan Pauls, I'm expecting those type of people to probably be thrown in. Cody Rhodes probably will be returning in Money in the Bank. It would not surprise me at this particular point, but I like the idea that you said there of making a new start, making a new opportunity. From that, let's
I
just.
think, I think if you throw a Cody in Money in the Bank, I think it's a wasted spot. I honestly do. Cody doesn't need to win Money in the Bank. He's already a main eventer. He's a guy that just needs to go on a consecutive win streak and turn up the Raw after Cena doesn't win. After the Raw after a title defense with Cena, and just go, I'm next. I want that championship. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need the Money in the Bank, and that's kind of what I hate when they throw the big names in. It's like, this is essentially a mid-card championship. A mid-carder should be winning this. This is the X Division Championship equivalent, the Money in the Bank briefcase. This is there for someone to cash in for a bigger opportunity.
Comments. There's quite a few people watching at the moment. Should this be an established star winning this year, or should this be a new star winning it? Do you agree with Nick, Steve, or do you disagree? I'd like to know people's feelings. But let's go with some names that people are suggesting could be in Money in the Bank this year. Leo saying perhaps maybe Ludwig Kaiser would be a great one. Finn Balor to enter. Austin Theory would also be cool as well. It certainly would be great to see all of those guys involved in Money in the Bank should they get that opportunity. Aleister Black would be cool, or even Carrion would love AJ Styles to win it. AJ Styles would be a fun one. Seeing the fact as well that he sort of seems to be fading away from that top spot. If he's ever going to get into it now, he would have to, he has to have one last hurrah, if you will. His time of being a main eventer seemingly finished, so this way it gets him back into the picture. Byron here is suggesting Logan Paul, Finn Balor, and agrees with NXT. Would like to see a new star win it. Also suggesting Karrion Kross as well could be a fun one. Certainly is the topical one that's over with people as well. You mentioned John Cena. Just give Roy a shout as well, because Roy's put a couple of comments in. I don't want to ignore Roy. It says that John Cena never won the title when he won Money in the Bank. That was back in 2012. It was the first failed cash in.
That's because he was a dumbass and told him when he was going to cash in and went, I'm going to challenge you to a match on this date instead of doing what everyone else does. But yeah, I remember that.
It was that was on Raw 1000 as well. For those who want to go back in the history books, indeed. So I'll tell you what, we'll get to a point now. We'll talk about the women's a little bit more in a second, but I'll put you on the spot. Pick a name. Who is way too early? Your prediction to win the men's Money in the Bank 2025.
I am going to go with. Someone mentioned it a minute ago, and I think it makes a lot of sense because I think it's an opportunity to rebuild them. There's two. Austin Theory makes a lot of sense, but I'm going to go with Karrion Kross because I want to see that guy be elevated this year and get to the main event scene, because he's doing bits behind the scene and like he's selling out merch crazy like anything, and like even people are complaining that his merch isn't available at house shows and Raws and live events, and they've actually had to now start stocking Karrion Kross's gear. So I want to see him get a massive push. I'd love to see him win Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well. And apparently his entrance for main event this past week, the reception he got was explosive. So it's not had the opportunity to go out and see it myself, but to hear that, that's amazing. And I agree with you. I hope he gets a big push as well. I compare Karrion Kross right now to LA Knight a couple of years ago. LA Knight was someone that made this big splash as well, and everyone got on side, and the reactions were getting bigger and bigger each and every week. And WWE played a slow game with LA Knight. It felt like that everyone was crying for him to win a Money in the Bank, win a mid-card championship. He had to wait around about a year or so before that moment actually happened. We got the crowning moment of winning a championship. I think Karrion Kross could be in for something similar at this moment. I think WWE will play a long game rather than a quick game, which is why, as much as I want to see him win Money in the Bank, I'm not going to predict it at this stage. But I would not be surprised to see Karrion Kross and LA Knight have parallel paths, if you will, if you look in sort of 1 to 2 years' time from now, and we see Karrion Kross in the same way that we see LA Knight with his catchphrases, with the way that he's over with the audience today, and of course winning some championships as well. But my pick, and you, sorry,
just gonna say, I hope so, man. Like, there's very few chances that we get to see naturally that someone progressively gets themselves over with the crowd. Like we've seen it before with Daniel Bryan and Kofi Mania was a big thing, and I genuinely think Karrion Kross could be the next iteration of those.
It certainly could be, and I really hope that it does come to fruition. I've been a big fan of Kross for years. This was a fun shout from Leo. If Dominic was a face or a twin, he'd be the perfect guy for it.
If he wasn't already IC champion, agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think it's the championship that stops it more than the personality at this stage. Even if it's a heel, I think it'd be a lot of fun holding the briefcase. But yeah. I'm going to make a prediction then, and I know that this may not be popular, but this is my early pick right now. It's way too early, and things can change. He may not even go to qualify for this this year. But I'm going to say Seth freaking Rollins is going to hold the briefcase this year, because right now they are positioning him as the number one guy. And if they want to make him the number one heel, how dangerous would he be having Money in the Bank right now? Having Braun Breaker also protecting him as well if he chose to cash in. Paul Heyman being the wise guy, picking the right moment for that cash in as well. It just feels like that Jey Uso then, it would feel dangerous of when he would lose that championship, or potentially should someone defeat John Cena on the other side, maybe Seth could jump over to SmackDown as well. But I would say that it's more likely that Jey would be the one to be cashed in on, and especially after everything that's going on currently with CM Punk and Sami Zayn, which of course will conclude, or at least get its next chapter at Saturday Night's Main Event next week. I just feel like that would be a good way to go. And I think if you had, say, for example, Rollins and Punk both in the ladder match as well, then Punk could be screwed out of it. That way you kind of build them to have another match sort of further down the line, whether that be a SummerSlam or, you know, an XPLE after that.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because of how they've recently put the Money in the Bank. Now I'm a little bit hesitant to see someone like obviously, especially with the women's. Like for the first few years, it was a case of it either went stupidly long with Carmella, or all the women cashed in on one night, and it was like we were crying out for long runs with championships. And then it's the same with the men's. Like over the years, we've seen so many people like Austin Theory, Baron Corbin, Mr. Kennedy, like people that had that championship that were, I don't know, ultimately, I don't know whether it was a case of they shot themselves in the foot or whatever it was that cost them this. And it's like, I'm just hoping they don't do the same this year. And like, we can actually get 2 concurrent stories running throughout a whole calendar year, and they don't balls it up like they do with one of them normally. So yeah, I'm excited, man. Like I said, they just need to do the right thing with the briefcases this year.
Absolutely, certainly did. Let's move on to the women quickly. Just a few extra women you want to see added to the match, and then give us your early prediction of who you think it is.
I would love it to be Chelsea Green. She is my superstar. She is my shining light. I caught snippets of Matt Cardona's interview with Chris Van Vliet, and just like, I know he's a bit biased because obviously he's her husband, but like everything he says, like the story she's been on, like she does tough enough. She doesn't get hired. She goes out and does the indies and makes a name for herself. She goes to TNA. She becomes Laura Van Ness. She makes a big name for herself there. She does the first All In at AEW, and then she goes on to sign for WWE. She gets called up. She is then hampered by, I think she breaks her wrist twice, I think, in like the first year of being on the roster, and then to be released and then to come back, be the first ever United States women's champion. The briefcase is screaming for Chelsea Green. It honestly is.
It really is. If there's a second chance then Chelsea is my pick because I feel like that it just feels like it would be a perfect fit right now. It would move her on nicely from the United States Championship to a new direction. It gives the Secret Service as well purpose of the fact that they're protecting the
Yep.
money in the bank holder as well. And I don't know, just it propels Chelsea to that next level. Although some people would say that her character doesn't need a world championship, I still think it would be a lot of fun. And I think it'd be a lot of fun on the SmackDown side as well. But to give a different name, I have a couple in mind, but I will stick with an actual prediction at the end. A part of me feels they're going to give it to Jade Cargill. A part of me feels that that's what they'll do. But I'm going to say Roxanne Perez just because of the fact that WWE last couple of years have been building those new stars that have come up, like you said, from an NXT. Tiffany was a perfect example, by the way, debuting in the Rumble, getting over in the Chamber, and all of a sudden, by the time they got to the summer, they couldn't ignore her. They gave her the Money in the Bank briefcase. And look, by the start of the year, she's the top star in the whole division. Roxanne Perez was the runner-up in the Royal Rumble. She's involved in Elimination Chamber. And since WrestleMania, despite the fact she's lost a number of matches, she's actually been involved heavily on Monday Night Raw and also on SmackDown as well. I think it just would be a really cool moment if someone from NXT for a second year running comes in. It's like, we're going to put the ball with you and you're going to run with it, because like Roxanne is a future star of the division. So for me, she is going to be the early pick at this point. But of course, if there's a second chance, then screw that. It will be Chelsea Green.
No, I like what you're saying, because essentially they've kind of built Roxanne Perez to a point now where she's almost crying for this, because like you said, she was the runner-up. She was in the Chamber. She's done, like, she has this great run over the last calendar year as NXT champion. And I think they've kind of almost, I wouldn't say botched her debut on the main roster, but it just felt very lackluster. Like it was just a case of she didn't get like a big debut, like with the music playing and stuff like that. It was kind of like just showing up with Julia and, do you know what I mean, attacking Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and it was kind of like, it just feels a bit underwhelming. And I think like a Money in the Bank briefcase would, like, dude, it would suit her down to the T. I mean, Jade is also a good shout. I'd also put a shout in for Naomi, because I think Naomi's going to have a great year as a heel this year. And I think if you wanted to have a really good year, you give her that Money in the Bank briefcase.
It certainly could indeed. I mean, I think she's put herself in line for a shot as well. She's comes to ringside again in another championship match this past week on SmackDown. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if she finds a way in there, especially as well trying to counteract Jade as well. I imagine they probably will be in the same qualifying match when it comes round to it. But hey, we've been discussing Money in the Bank for about 20 odd minutes now. So it's a good time to say to everyone, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well. All that good stuff, the stuff that helps the channel. And we need your support. That's pretty much what we really are crying out for. However, we've come to the point now where we're going to stop just talking with each other, and we're going to take all your comments and suggestions and questions. So it's a live Q&A format. So get yourselves involved and let us know what you want to talk about. And if you write in the comments, we will bring it up. Paul in-house, Paul, hope you're doing well, says Natalia Slaps fan following defeat in the NWA Crockett Cup. Have you seen the clip that's going viral online?
I've seen it. I don't think it's an actual fan. I think it's one of them staged fans. I'd be very surprised if it is an actual fan, because like it's America and that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. So I'm going to say it's a staged hand. And yeah, I've seen it, and it did what it needed to do, because it's done exactly what it's done. It's brought attention to a product. Do you know what I mean? It's brought like eyes to it. And although it may be quite shocking and controversial, we've been watching wrestling for a long time to know that these things are slightly rigged.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like it's not like Steve Austin's riding down to ringside at WrestleMania here. I think that it's probably, like you say, a plant in there somewhere. And hey, it's got the attention it needed and wanted. And hopefully, Natalia's looked to sort of give herself a bit of a different sort of gimmick.
She's going by a different name as well now, isn't she? She's going by Natty Nineheart instead of Natalia.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I like it as well. Dude, her dad's got such a legacy and a heritage. She should be using that name.
She still has a role to play, even though she's not everybody's favorite. There's still a role for her in WWE, and I'd like to see her playing into the mid-card championship scene.
Yeah, I said to you before that she has a stigma because she's from a previous generation that was very frowned upon, where it was the divas. So I think it's why she gets a lot of stick right nowadays. But she does. She is a locker room leader. She has her place on the roster. She has been around long enough to, do you know what I mean, educate some of the up and coming talent. She's a key role, a key model to have in your locker room.
Certainly is indeed, and a great role model for those that are coming in, as you mentioned there. AEW Collision cut off by Black Adam. The Rock defeats AEW on a Saturday night.
I don't know if you've heard anything about this, but yeah, apparently on the East Coast feed, the stream cuts off about an hour and a half in, and Black Adam starts playing, and and then the thing was, when the West Coast feed went up, the exact same thing happened. It cut out after 90 minutes, and Black Adam started playing, and that's not a good look for AEW this week. And to be like The Rock and Black Adam is just another kick in the teeth, isn't it?
At the final boss, once again, not letting us get the payoff at the end of a wrestling show. It's sort of something.
According to Roy, though, apparently it did sort of favour and kind it off. I haven't seen Black Adam, so it's like, from what I hear, it's not a particularly good film. So to go from a particularly not good wrestling show to a particularly not good film, I don't think there's any winners in that, apparently.
Probably not. I mean, I must admit, I have not seen Black Adam and I've not seen Collision. I'm still a month behind with AEW. I'm looking, I have an opportunity to try and catch up this week. And that's what I'm going to do so we can get some double or nothing predictions out
there. Too many bloody pay-per-views.
There's too many PLEs, but life in general was just, it stopped me from being able to do anything more than WWE recently. So I've been just strictly WWE. However, I want to be involved when it comes to double or nothing season. So I'm going to do my best to catch up. I'm going to do my best to get your predictions as well. So for those that are interested, keep an eye out. It should be dropping in the week. My target date is Thursday for you. Paul says that Soraya said, crazy I have to say this, but if you come to signings, please don't try to kiss me anywhere, especially on my mouth. He wasn't able to because I moved. I have seen that quote going around on socials today. Soraya, of course, was at a signing, as you mentioned there. Someone tried to kiss her on the mouth. Just to say, if you ever meet any wrestler, anyone, don't be weird. I don't think it needs to be said, and I'm pretty sure that all of our watchers are not those kinds. We know those people that are watching these shows on the regular and commenting on the regular, but still, for those that are new to this and don't know what to do, clear handshake is fine.
And even if you're going to take a photo, if you're going to put your arm around them, don't put it like physically on them. Do the gentleman thing and be like an inch away or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to hold on to the dear life, but dude, man, some people out there just I can't obviously speak for the person that did it, but dude, it's not tranquilo, man. That's not cool.
It's not cool. It's not cool. Don't be that person. If you have the opportunity and luck enough to meet one of these people, don't be that person.
Yeah.
Byron says Money in the Bank made Liv Morgan a star. It's certainly got her on the path.
Yeah, I think a lot of people poo-pooed it though, didn't they? Because obviously it was against Ronda Rousey and it wasn't the best run as champion. So I don't know if I think Liv was already a star. We were just waiting for that moment. I don't think personally the Money in the Bank cash-in was it, because a lot of people pooped over it, and I think that her second run as a champion ended up going over a lot better.
I think her second run was a lot better. I think the night on Money in the Bank, I think it was exceptional. I mean, the catching was great on that night. But I mean, the fallout afterwards with the booking at SummerSlam, because they didn't give her really a chance to really get over in the way that they booked that match. She technically, I think, lost it, if I'm not mistaken, but had won it at the same time. It was a very weird booking decision what they did there at SummerSlam to get around it. And then, she dropped the title a couple of months later. But like you say, it started the path, Byron. And then obviously a couple of years later, she's had a proper run with the title. And look at her now. She's one of the MVPs of the women's division. Ray says, I want to see Nick Aldis saying, I'm taking off my suit and I'm putting on the wrestling gear and I'm entering Money in the Bank, and that would get a big pop. It certainly would indeed.
I would love to see Nick Aldis do it. Man, it'd be great. Honestly, I still want to see Nick Aldis have a match with Randy, whoever, man. Nick Aldis has to get his WrestleMania moment for me.
Per WrestleVotes, so take it if you will, the plan is for Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam this year.
Oh, yes, absolutely I'm already sold now. I don't care about the rest of the card. That's the match I want to see most. I want to see Nick Aldis in a WWE ring wrestling.
It would be amazing, and obviously in the SummerSlam as well. I don't know. I just it's one of those things. Obviously, WrestleMania is huge as well, but like trying to think of it from the British perspective, all Brits have a soft spot for SummerSlam. You go back to the infamous Wembley Stadium show in 1992. I know that this is going to be in New Jersey, but still, I think Aldous would think this is pretty special of a way to debut and as a show to pick to make your grand entrance on the WWE stage.
Oh, definitely, and the fact that I don't think I don't think a WWE I don't think he's been shown in wrestling attire the whole time he's been on it. So I'm like, I think people don't realize, like, they know he's a well built guy, but I think that there's some people that are just going to see him and go, oh my god, this guy is jacked. He is the definition of a Vince McMahon style pro wrestler. Like, he is body Adonis. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't wait, man. I really like that. If anything, like I said, if that is the match that's going to happen at SummerSlam, forget everything else. I'm telling you now, that's my match I want to see.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, for me as well, like if you look at him, he fits the WWE profile of what WWE looks for in their type of wrestlers, you know, and I think that he would fit in very, very well should he ever become part of the active roster.
Yeah, not like that Snake Adam Pierce. We have there's a show you and me need to watch, but discuss about it that involves a certain Adam Pierce before we talk about that guy more.
Coming to you soon. Sid says, bring back James Ellsworth to win the women's Money in the Bank. Well, we might bring it back. It's a part of the rewind options, which is that the polls drop tonight. So, yeah, 2017, 2018, and 2021 are your options for rewind, of course, featuring Money in the Bank. So let us know which one you want us to review.
Quick synopsis of what's on each one. So 17 is, I believe, the first ever women's Money in the Bank one.
That's the one where James Ellsworth technically wins it, yes. 2018. And just give it a little bit of, I'll give you 2 bits of each show. So in that way you've got the big parts of it. Because the other part is this is a SmackDown exclusive 2017 and also features Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton for the championship. 2018 is Bliss in the Bank, which kind of could work right now because Bliss obviously is the only one that's qualified at the time of recording. That'll probably change very quickly, I think, come Raw. And obviously she cashed in on the same night on Ronda Rousey, funnily enough. But also, I think it was Nia Jax actually, but it was a Rousey match that was going on. But at the same time as well, on that show, you had AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, last man standing, for anyone that wants to go back to that delight from 2018. It's a 30-minute match. I think it's the best of the series, if I'm not mistaken. And also 2021. The fans are back from the pandemic era. So John Cena returns to confront Roman Reigns. And as well as that, arguably, is possibly my favorite men's Money in the Bank match ever. The one where Big E wins. So yeah, I'm kind of down for any of those 3 shows. Vote your favorite, let us know, and we will review. Leo says, I would love to see Naomi, Roxanne, or Liv Morgan win the match. Any one of these women can win because they deserve it. There certainly would be good choices, in my opinion. Ray wants to see Thea Hale called up and let her win Money in the Bank. She get a huge pop from me. I'm a big fan of Thea Hale. My only issue with that is that I don't think enough people would know who Thea Hale is, even though the NXT audience would.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, don't get me wrong. The NXT hardcore fan base would pop for her, but I don't think anyone else would, which is a shame. Like, another one that's been in NXT so long is just dying to be a breakout star now, and she's finally getting it, I guess, on NXT. And like, wait and see, maybe, because she seems to be, like I said, getting a lot more in-ring action and could be a future, maybe North American star, who's a North American champion.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, if you compare with some of the other names I mentioned earlier on from NXT, for example, Tiffany Stratton, who got called up, was there for 6 months. Roxanne Perez, runner-up in Royal Rumble, was in the chamber. If you look at Julia's just got the call-up, and I think it's too soon for her, and she's in a higher profile position than
yeah, Julia's way too early.
So that's why I put Thea Hale in that same thing as well. They would have to learn their way with the full WWE audience. But hey, Ray would be happy, and if Ray is happy, I'd be happy as well. Just saying.
Yeah, agree. I would be as well.
Keegan Williams says, I feel Liv could win, and she shows up like Austin Theory did. And when he won it, I think the story could be interesting with Raquel helping her win and cash in. I feel like the character right now fits. Certainly does. I think Money in the Bank actually suits the heel better. The only way that I think Money in the Bank this year suits the face better, as Eric Steve suggested earlier, is in the men's side if you're stopping John Cena walking away with that championship. However, traditionally, I think heels do make that briefcase a lot more interesting, whether they're comedy characters or serious characters, or someone that relies on a bodyguard like Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that the idea for a heel with that briefcase should be to just mentally torment the champion for the next 12 months, regardless. Like, middle of a match at SummerSlam, defending that championship, have their music play. Next night on Raw, in their next match, have the music play. It should just be the running theme for 12 months. Just mentally torment the champion. It's what it's designed to do, and I don't think they do it enough. Like, I think that's what it calls for this year. Whoever the heel is, they just need to be an absolute animal with it and just absolutely mentally drain that person until they're on the point where, like, just cash it in on me now. Just do it now. Like, I'm sick of you doing this. Just cash it in already.
I like the sound of that booking. That would work really, really well, I think, in my personal opinion. Paul, love the comment here. Just says simply, chat rate. You want to help the chat rate on this channel? Write what you want. Literally. I'll keep it clean, though, I suppose. Not offensive. But yeah, chat rate's kind of nice. Just write in chat rate. Yeah. Hello. Chat with everyone else in there. Helps this channel grow.
No kissing wrestlers on the lips kind of stuff. None of that.
Yeah.
None of that rubbish.
Noob and House, Noob, good to see. It's been a while, my friend. Says that was an embarrassing moment in AEW Collision. Was good, going good, only for The Rock to say no. Beach break is over. For me, it's not even started. That's the bad part when you're being that far behind. Pierre in the house. Pierre, hope you're doing well. Says hello to Steve's. Are you agreeing with me that Gabe Kidd is a horrible shame? Well, I mean, I'm not going to body shame any pro wrestler.
I mean, if he's a square or a triangle, I'm not particularly fond of them. I prefer hexagons and octagons, if I'm honest. But, you know, that's just me being into shapes.
There you go. I like it. Bit of mathematics in there for you as well. Pierce, I think that Liv Morgan has been doing the run of her career these past 2 years. It certainly has indeed. And it seems like a popular choice for Money in the Bank should she return in time. Apparently, she's wowed a lot of people with the acting skills with the film that she's just been doing.
Look, we've been saying it for years that we want to see Liv at the top, and she's finally getting her roses, her flowers. Do you know what I mean? She's getting her due, and being in a film, being a 2 or 3 time women's champion, like, she's getting there. It's like, I just don't want them to do what WWE normally do when they get a new star, and is absolutely milk it to death. And it gets to the point where we get like a lot of the fans are doing with Becky now, where they're like, "You're the new John Cena," do you know what I mean? You're the new Hulk Hogan, I think is what they're comparing Becky to. And I don't want Liv to be the next Charlotte Flair, where people just get sick of seeing her. Like, don't essentially milk it to death and let it just organically grow, man.
Absolutely, indeed. Could agree with that a lot more, honestly. Sid says, would you like to see the Hugger Bailey return? No, I'm kind of happy with the carnation over Bailey right now. I just want to see her go and want to get revenge, really, when she comes back. She should be someone on a mission, not hugging.
It only makes sense if, for example, a Sasha Banks comes back, and this is like a la Seth coming out in Shield gear against Roman Reigns. Like, Sasha's obviously lost to Hugger Bailey, and I think if you want to play a mind game with Sasha Banks, just have Bailey come out as the Hugger one day, because, you know, just to mess with her. But obviously Sasha's got to return to WWE for that to happen.
Certainly does indeed. Noob says Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis will, as the kids say, feed families. Love that.
Definitely.
Absolutely. You're keeping me young, Noob, there, knowing all the latest sayings to say. Pierre says, what do you think about having John Cena versus R-Truth at Saturday night's main event next weekend? And since this is a title match, will R-Truth win, NXT?
No, I can't see R-Truth winning. As much as it would be a great thing to see, John Cena's champion, 17-time champion, he's the GOAT. Losing to R-Truth kind of doesn't fit the bill. I think if anything, this probably gets like a DQ finish or something. I think John's going to win because Randy or someone is going to attack him, and he will win via DQ essentially. But yeah, I can't see R-Truth winning this, man. As much as it's as cool as it would be to see, I just can't see it happening.
I think if you've had a chance to see my short that's come out with the, I believe that they've rushed this feud, that would
Yeah.
explain everything in detail, what I feel more. And I'm not going to rehash it here, but what I would just say is that I do feel this match has been rushed. I think it could have been booked a lot better. And I think John Cena is just going to win this quite easily. That's how I see this going down. Unfortunately, I'd love to see it. They'll probably give us that one moment where we'll just believe Truth could win it for a second, but there's no way that John Cena's not winning this match. It's a Cena win all the way, and probably
Like,
they had to do this match on the Farewell Tour. It's just a shame that it's a throwaway Saturday night's main event. Now it could have been a Saturday night's main event later in the year, but I just think they could have booked this up and something where it could have meant a lot more.
it's got to be believable, like a Santina Morella winning the Elimination Chamber, that kind of believable. Like the crowd is just honestly perplexed that it might actually happen, but it doesn't happen. Like it has to be like, it has to put doubt in your mind. That's what they have to try and achieve.
Certainly, indeed. PS says, I have Naomi winning the Money in the Bank contract this year. Love that. Would be great for her. I think it'd be nice to see her actually win Money in the Bank personally. Leo says, I think the problem with Liv is when she's champion, they always focus on the one wrestler, and it's the wrestler that she loses to the title. So I hope the next reign as world champion is different. I'm guessing the program with Rhea Ripley, obviously, it was the focus last time, and that was the issue for Liv really with the title. We always knew it was going to go back to Rhea. It was just a matter of when, not if. And I guess it's a shame it didn't ride all the way out to WrestleMania, but Raw Netflix debut was not a bad spot, I guess.
I'm going to yin the yang to this one. I don't think the Rhea Ripley story was that bad. I think the problem was they had no other top talent for Liv to face, which is why it went on for so long. There were so many people injured, or they just didn't have established big names, that it was like Liv and Rhea were the only two to go for this title, because you had Naomi in the tag team scene with Jade. So, you know what I mean? They're automatically ruled out of it. I just think it was unfortunate that there was no one else for Liv to face. So I don't personally mind it, because I think we had a great series of matches out there. Do you know what I mean? We got the Dominic heel turn on Rhea out of it. We got Dominic in the shark cage as well, and just Liv being champion as well, and just mentally tormenting Dominic, and just everything leading up to it I thought was great. Yeah, I just genuinely think it was a lack of top female talent at the time.
I actually agree with that point, because some of our other matches at the time, obviously, they did the EO match at Saturday Night's main event, but I think everyone would agree that the stock of EO Sky has risen dramatically since then. She's probably female wrestler of the year at this point for 2025 at the moment, if you had to do the polls right now. And you wouldn't have said that in December when they had their match last year. She was sort of just in and around the background of Damage Control. Zelina Vega was another
top two this year, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Zelina Vega was... No, it's all right. Zelina Vega was a challenger as well in the middle of the year, and they did it on a Raw. But like you say, that there was never a believability that Liv would drop the title to a Zelina Vega at that point either. So I kind of agree with you. There wasn't those established names. Becky was away for the time period as well. So they did what they had to do at the time. But I think there's new challengers, new people there now for if Liv was to hold a title again, or certainly being around that picture. They've risen the stock of a number of stars.
Yeah, They've got a lot of them back. Like I think Chelsea, I think is on her way to being one of the top stars. Like you said, Io has now established herself as like number 1 or 2 top female wrestler in the world. Especially like I think her and probably Toni Storm are going to fight that out for like PWI's top 100 women. I think they do every year, don't they? I think those two are going to battle it out this year for top 2, unless I'm missing someone else, like someone from Stardom. They normally like throwing down my face that I don't know, but yeah, I think they're getting there. Julia has obviously just come up, and I think give her 6 months to a year, she'll be in that same spot. She'll be in the top scene. Then next year, you've got Stephanie Vaquer to come up. Jordan Grace is there, and like I think this next year in NXT is going to be very important as well for like Sol Ruka, Zarya, Lash Legend, Thea Hale, Jada Parker, and who was the other one that was in the North American ladder match? The one I said was going to win it. I can't remember her name now.
Kalani Jordan.
Kalani Jordan. No, not Kalani Jordan. The other one. The one that just come back as well. You know, when we talked about it, I said, "Oh, Sol Ruka's going to win this," and then Thea Hale come out, and it was the one before. I forget the one that done the underground fight.
Lola Vice.
Lola Vice. Yeah, I think like they're going to be big stars this time next year that are going to be on the verge of call ups. Do you know what I mean? It's all just going to build for the future.
Absolutely. You've got Tiffany Stratton, as I mentioned as well. Jade Cargill's
yeah.
rising, and Becky Lynch is back as well. And speaking of Becky Lynch, Pierce asking the question, do you think we get AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam this year? Never say never, but I think I've given up at the point of AJ Lee at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all just a dream, and I don't know. It's one of them things that I'm hoping one day they do. It's a case of it probably just has to be the right time and the right opponent. Like I know I fantasy booked like Saraya and AJ Lee versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan for the tag team titles. It's just like a, do you know what I mean? One of them silly celebrity or one of them silly legends matches that they love to do. But I think she will come back one day. I just don't think it's going to be like. I don't think it's a case of she'll get drafted like Trish done the other year, and it'll be a case of she's going to be on one show. I think it's a case of it'll be a Legends contract, and it'll be like one, maybe two matches a year when she's in, like, for example, I think she's from New Jersey. So do you know what I mean? When they do a pay-per-view in New Jersey or they're in Chicago, do you know what I mean? It'll be like one or two appearances a year.
Yeah, absolutely. If big if at this point, but would love it to go down if it could. What did we think of Zach Gowen versus Ricochet? I can't comment. As I said, I'm 4 weeks behind of Dynamite, so I haven't seen it. I'm aware a match has happened. Have you seen it?
It's just pretty much the same as what WWE did like 15 years ago, mate. It's the same thing. Like, crowd gets massively behind Zach Gowen, Ricochet wins, essentially. It's like, it's that, do you know what I mean? That fighting spirit, that underdog story that they're trying to do with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it does the right thing in terms of building Ricochet as a heel, and especially like the way they got round to building the match the week before. But Zach Gowen, he's an ex-professional wrestler, and do you know what I mean? I think that's the problem with it, is like he's not exactly. I think people are more interested in the fact that he is disabled and he only has one. He wrestles with one leg, so there is an intrigue and an interest to it. But ultimately, he's going to lose, and that's the problem with it. I can't get behind someone that I know is going to be booked to lose.
One thing I will say that I will contribute to this question, which is not really much to do with Zach Gowen, but it's to do with Ricochet. When I have seen a Ricochet this year, I think he's one of the top heels right now. I'm loving the work he's doing. I love the feud he had with Swerve Strickland, the stuff that he had going in with the Dynasty show with
chill on the old Twitter game. The give up Twitter for the time being, because Javon Evans bodied him the other week on Twitter, and I don't really want to see repeats that. We don't need that stuff, man. I don't know why they do it, man. I get it. Like, they do it to draw attention and hype and whatever, but like, I think there needs to be like, look, text him and say, look, dude, let's you and me have a beef. And maybe they did do that, but some of the stuff Javon come out with, and I'm like, there's definitely no way these two communicated this beef before.
Certainly, yeah, certainly indeed. Leo goes on the safe on his previous comment, so we've already answered on this really, but he said the first reign with Ronda and the second with Rhea, then top of that she doesn't even get a chance to win it back, and they just send us to the back of the line. That's very true. She has gone to the back of the line, but she's gone to continue to win championships though. She's still the tag team champion at this particular time, and I do think that she will go back to being a champion again in the singles division, whether it be a mid card or whether it's the top titles. I think Liv's time is still to come.
Yeah, and the thing is now is like, we know that WWE, like, they're going the right path booking factions because everyone is still on TV every week. It's not like they disappear into non-existence like Zoe Stark at the minute, like waiting for her to reappear and do something. But like, they're getting everyone on TV. She's predominantly on TV every week, so you know she's there. They're making a big deal out of the fact that she's away doing a film. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, she's always going to be a top star from now on. It's very unlikely that she'll disappear into the wonders of catering that she was in like 6-7 years ago.
Absolutely, indeed. Well, just a final thought on Liv Morgan is obviously that first title reign was the trial period. The second time was the the trust and seeing where they could go with it. And now she's established coming out the other side of it. She held that title for like 6 to 8 months. She's someone that will definitely be in and around the picture going forward. It's whether it's enough to, I suppose, her fan base or the fan base's liking.
Do you know what I think got her over as well, more importantly, is they gave her a microphone.
Yep.
And she's great on the mic. She can wrestle, but a lot of her work over the last 18 months has been down to her mic work. Don't get me wrong, some of it is a bit character. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's stereotype character stuff that can be irritating if we've seen it all before. But otherwise, generally, she's got herself over with her mic work and she's been fantastic. Like I forget the time it was, but the one where she's up in the rafters and Rhea and Dom are in there, and Dom is essentially bullying her, and she's out in the rafters, and she starts fake crying like she's really upset at being rejected by Dom. Just some great character work, and like I said, just giving her a mic and letting her live. Because, do you know what I mean? The last time they tried to do this, they had her in some sort of love story with Sonya Deville, and it didn't work out for longer than a week.
No, it certainly didn't indeed. Pierre asking your favorite wrestlers in NXT right now.
Oh, Stephanie Vaquer and Obafemi, man. And obviously, like Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, and Javon Evans is really growing on me as well, man. Like, the more I watch him, but then again, don't get me wrong, I do love, like, Tavion Heights, right? Is it not Riley Osborne? Miles, what's his name? Miles Bourne. Like, I think them as a tag team nest. Like, Miles Bourne, for his deafness and his speech impediment, I still find him really captivating. Like, I want to listen to him talk because he almost has this something about him that makes me want to listen more. And I honestly, I just think he's captivating, and I can't wait to see him. And like I said, him winning that battle royal and getting a chance at Obafemi, him cutting promos, can't wait to see what he does.
Cannot wait either. And NXT Battleground is next week. So NXT, do you fancy some predictions midweek?
Damn right I do.
You know what to do. You hit the bell. You know, you can join us live for those as well. By the way, just copy and paste Stephanie Vaquer or Obafemi, top 2 for me as well. But yeah, Ethan Page is in there. Kalani Jordan is one I'll throw in there, and Sol Ruka, just to give a couple of different names. And technically, Roxanne Perez is still part of the NXT women's roster. So yeah, she has to get a mention as well.
I have a soft spot for Thea Hale. There's a lot of NXT talent that are just quality.
Absolutely. I'm surprised you didn't mention Hank and Tank.
Sorry, my bad.
Pierce says, I think the next match Becky and Lyra are going to have is when Lyra's going to retain the women's title and Bayley's going to return and attack Becky Lynch. Maybe Bayley is the reason that Becky Lynch doesn't win that title. However, if I had to predict it right now, I think Becky wins it next time round.
Yeah, I think that Bayley is the reason that Becky wins it, and then we get the triple threat that I want to see badly between the three of them for that IC title. I think Bayley should ultimately cost Lyra that championship, and that's the reason why we get a 3-way for it.
Oh, nice. And then does that go into SummerSlam, or does this become Bayley versus Lynch at SummerSlam?
No, I'd prefer it, because in that way you could essentially probably have Lyra win that IC title back, and then you could still do Bayley versus Becky afterwards. I don't know, like I said, you can do it you can do it a number of ways, but I think Lyra getting a win over Bayley and Becky in a SummerSlam triple threat match would be great. I think like if she picks up a win over Bayley, getting a win over Becky, a clean win over Becky, and then a win over Bayley and Becky does bits for Lyra, especially as IC champion.
Absolutely. Paul asking, have you played the WWE 2K25 DLC?
Don't even own the game. I've played it because my mate's done the whole share play thing on PlayStation. It's very samey, and I'm kind of like, I'm just waiting for that year where they do something that really draws me in, because the GM mode that I originally wanted it for, it's like Football Manager. It's like I actually want to play the game. I don't just want to manage people.
Have I played the DLC? No. Take the DLC away. Have I played the game? Nope. I have not done either. So will I get the opportunity to? As I said, life is busy. I'm not even able to keep up with wrestling, so let alone play the games, unfortunately. But maybe later in the year, we'll see. But probably by the time I get round to it, everyone would have lost interest, unfortunately. So I do apologize that I'm letting you down on the gaming side. Pierre wants to see that triple threat match. No, actually wants to see Becky versus Bayley, apologies, and Valkyria versus Perez for the women's IC title at SummerSlam. I would be totally in favor of that.
Definitely.
Leo says, I would love if NXT had their own version of Money in the Bank. I believe it's called the Iron Survivor Challenge.
Yeah, I believe it is, because you get to challenge for. It happens in December, doesn't it? They do it, and then they get a shot at the NXT Championship once they win it, and it's normally a little tournament thing.
It's not a briefcase.
Yeah, no, it's not a briefcase. It's just a clipboard with a bit of paper on it, which is so underwhelming. They definitely do need something like an X Division, or like an X Division Championship, or what was the TNA equivalent? The where they get the 4 briefcases.
Feast or Fired.
Feast or Fired, yeah. They need something like that, because it's a clipboard with a bit of paper on it. It's just really underwhelming as a presentation aspect, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. To be fair, they do get their opportunity to cash in when they like, when they've won the tournament. What they do, it's not the Iron Survivor Challenge, it's the is it not the Dusty?
The Dusty Cup, yeah. They get when they win that, they get a shot for the tag team titles, yeah.
Breakout tournament. There we are. That's the one I'm trying to think of, the breakout tournament. They don't do it every year.
I think it's I think the Iron Survivor Challenge replaced the breakout tournament, because I think the Iron Survivor Challenge was a case of, look, we can throw anyone in this, whereas the breakout had to be new stars, and I think that they needed some established stars in there to get the new stars over.
Absolutely. Pierre, we said this already, my friend. We do not judge how people look. We're not going to judge people's shapes in wrestling, my friend. So we're not going to answer that one, unfortunately for you. Roy says, are you liking Robert Stone and Victoria Crawford in TNA? I hate it. Let Santino Marella make the decisions. Have to be honest, not seen enough TNA recently to comment on this, unfortunately.
I don't understand where Robert Stone gets authority and control and power in TNA. He's not even employed by the company. I don't know if it's meant to be a case of it's because it's NXT talent he gets to say in the matter. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, I think I've only seen him kind of involved with the whole Joe Hendry, Trick Williams thing, and I think that's why he's involved in it. But it makes sense, but then it is kind of stupid. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Who's the other female that is like Eve's sidekick in NXT? Stevie Turner. I honestly don't know what Stevie Turner and Robert Stone do half the time, because they don't wrestle. Well, Stevie Turner's a wrestler. Robert Stone isn't a wrestler. And it's kind of like, ever since Chelsea got rid of him from NXT, he's just kind of been there, and he's like a bad fart. He just doesn't go. He's just there.
I wish he would do something though, because he's usually quite entertaining, Robert Stone. But but yeah, he doesn't get used enough, unfortunately. Pierre says that tell her the truth that Drew McIntyre should be the one to beat main event Jey Uso to become world heavyweight champion. I would not be against it.
No, wouldn't be against it either. Who is Jay's next opponent anyway? Like, who they lined up? Anyone?
Logan Paul, Saturday night's main event.
That's right. Yeah, Saturday night's main event. Oh, Logan might actually win. Anyway,
predictions dropping this week. It's a predictions week coming up this week. You probably will gather. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be Double or Nothing, Battleground, and Saturday night's main event. So you got a lot to stick your teeth into.
I'm really looking forward to one of them.
Unfortunately, yes, Ray, thank you for bringing up, of course, the sad news this week. We learned that Sabu passed away at the age of 60. The suicidal, genocidal, homicidal maniac, of course, who changed the pro wrestling industry with his death-defying style in the likes of ECW in Japan, brief stint in WCW, WWE, as featured in AEW, and much, much more. Do you have any memories of Sabu that you'd like to share with us? Maybe some favorite ones, a favorite feud, a favorite match?
I was never really a Sabu fan or an ECW fan, unfortunately. So without insulting the guy, I'm going to just politely say no, because I was never, like I said, I was never an ECW fan. I know obviously of it, Sabu, and what he represented, and the crazy, crazy stuff that he used to get up to in ECW. And like I said, he will be missed. He is an icon. I expect him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. which he rightly deserves as well. I think we were actually planning on doing an ECW one night stand review at some point, weren't we? And I think
Yeah.
is Sabu on that show that we were planning on doing?
He might have been. I can't remember.
Either way, like I said, it'll be good to if we finally get to do an ECW this year. We'll get to watch something with Sabu, and I think then obviously I can be a bit more justifiable on Sabu as a wrestler because I can't honestly say I've ever watched him wrestle, but I do know he's a legend.
He is indeed. I think Sami Zayn said that he wanted Sabu in the Hall of Fame this year. It's a shame that it didn't materialize in the end, unfortunately. But look, Sabu for me, I was a big fan in my teenage years of Sabu, watching ECW on those days when you could get access to seeing it, and some of the brutal matches you would see him have involved with barbed wire and tables and stuff like that. He was a creative genius of something that you hadn't seen anywhere else before you'd seen Sabu. But yeah, his rivalry with Taz back in the 90s in ECW is something that will definitely stay with me when he actually made a return, because Taz had taken him out and he wasn't around for a full year. Taz would call him out, he wouldn't show up, call him out, and then the time that the lights went out and he came back in, and the ECW arena just erupted, and then they had their killer match at Barely Legal in 1997. It's an absolute blinder. So yeah, that's gonna be my shout out for Sabu. And of course he had his little run as well in WWE in the ECW revival in 2006 as well, like
He did,
the
yeah.
one night stand stuff as well. So yeah, there's some good stuff with Sabu out there, and rest in peace obviously, and condolences to friends, family and fans, because obviously he's gonna be seriously missed.
Yeah, just to touch on again, like I said, I think the ultimate problem is back in the day, I never did the tape trading. So, like, there was nowhere I could ever get ECW content back in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? I was stuck watching cable TV and watching Raw and WCW, and that was kind of like I never really knew ECW existed until the Invasion angle. Really, like, I may have heard bits of it. I might have heard a crowd chant here or there, but like I said, growing up until like 2000, 2001, I never even really knew ECW existed, which is a crying shame because, like you said, there is a lot of history with ECW, especially like Paul Heyman and what they stood for in wrestling and what they were trying to be in wrestling. Do you know what I mean? A very important brand.
Changed the landscape forever, and definitely was an influence on everything we see today. Sabu was a heavy influence of that brand, so certainly made his impact that we still feel in a lot of wrestling we see today. Pierre says, I think Aleister Black should get a victory after victory until he wins the US title. I would not be against seeing him win the United States Championship.
I wouldn't be against it as well, but I want to actually see. I want to see him with a big title, world title, WWE Championship. Like, I think that we've said it many times before. When he was NXT champion, I don't think he ever main evented a takeover as NXT champion, because Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa existed as a feud back in the day, so he was kind of always second to last match on. So I want to see him get his flowers as well and be a main event star.
Would be quite cool to see. Sid says, have you seen the Queen of the Ring movie? I still haven't had the chance to.
I have it. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, fair enough. Pierre wants to see Rusev versus Sheamus.
Yeah, wouldn't be against it. If anything, put the IC title involved in that and get Sheamus to be a Grand Slam champion. Rusev, I saw his promo on Raw. I like this I like the fact that he's making nods to his whole thing as the Redeemer from AEW and the path that he's going on. It's some great character work. It just now needs to turn into some wins and something on actual TV and in matches.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. The idea that people are losing what their potential could have been, and Sheamus is someone that could fall in that category. He's not a main event player anymore. He's someone that's sort of in the mid card and can't get the job done for the IC title. So there is something to work with that there, and those two are good friends in real life. Kayfabe, everybody is not being featured well here, but yeah, it's something that I would not be against seeing, but they probably have good natural chemistry. Nubas, who will Io Sky feud with outside of Rhea Ripley for the women's world title? Noob would like to see Io versus Roxanne Perez or return Oscar, leading up to Damage Control going their separate ways. Rumors have been believed that I think they've already gone their separate ways. Io's just the only one there now, isn't she? There is no Oscar or Kairi Sane, but I think that would be a great way to bring them back to feud with Io Sky for the championship. Perez as well, naturally. I'm going to be biased. I'm a big Perez and Io Sky fan, so yeah, give me that all day long.
Yeah, definitely all day long. But I think that look, Kyrie, they made a whole deal about Kyrie Sane coming back. I think it'd only be right that we get a Kyrie Sane Io Sky storyline, which then leads into Asuka's return, where we get a triple threat. Like, how many times have we seen matches not be booked because they just don't do it? And let's be honest, I think a lot of people would like to see Io versus Kyrie versus Asuka. Do you know what I mean? 3 Japanese wrestlers that have got that stardom style wrestling in them that can hit hard and deliver an absolute killer match.
Give us a 4-way now with Julia in the mix. Do you know what I mean? That would just be special.
Yeah, pro Stephanie Vicurina as well. We'll have a 5-way. It'd be great.
Take my money. Where will Cody Rhodes make a comeback? I'd say by Money in the Bank. I think he'll be back by then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Even maybe Saturday night. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think there's any necessary rush for him to come back, and I think that's a good thing. Like, a lot of people are kind of burnt out from Cody Rhodes. And to be fair, Cody Rhodes is probably due some time off, so I wouldn't be against him not coming back until maybe SummerSlam. Like, do you know what I mean? The build, or maybe not, maybe before SummerSlam and build towards that. But yeah, like I'm not in no rush to see him come back. So just whenever the time is right, really.
I think so, indeed. I can see. I still believe it'll be Cody versus Cena 2 at SummerSlam. So I think that somewhere before. So they've got Money in the Bank. They've got Night of Champions. They've even got Saturday night's main event. So we'll see when the right time will be that time for him. Sadly, yes, we've learned. Thank you, Sid, for making reference that Jim Ross has announced he's got colon cancer diagnosis. Again, we wish all the very best. We hope that we can get a positive result for this. And yeah. Wish him all the very best.
Yeah, I'm sure he's been through it a couple of times and he's got through it. So, you know, I'm wishing him all the best and he comes out just like he did the previous time.
Certainly, indeed. Just a few kind words for Jim Ross. Definitely one of, if not the greatest commentator of all time. Certainly my personal favorite of all time.
Ironically, I sent you a video on Instagram earlier of something outrageous that happened, and I just literally the quote I put was, "Imagine JR's voice of oh my god." He just has that impact in it. Like whenever you see something shocking, your head just instantly goes to JR shouting "oh my god," and like if your head can naturally go to that every time, I think he's done his job of making, like, do you know what I mean, cementing his place in wrestling history, legacy, whatever. But yeah, he's again one of the GOATs, one of the greatest to ever do it, and like for you and me especially, he is our childhood in terms of wrestling. Like there isn't many moments you can't think of without JR being the voice of reason. Like every time Austin stunned someone and he just absolutely loses his nut over it. And yeah, man, don't get me wrong, there's been some questionable stuff, like his return and his feud with Michael Cole was a bit of a weird one, but look, man, like I said, he's the voice of a generation, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so many special moments in wrestling history have had his name attached to them, whether it's been stuff that's been personal, whether it's been stuff been celebratory, or whether it's, you know, why Austin, why sell your soul to the devil, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's all like I said, we've gone raised through it, and obviously as well for AEW as well, he's been through some special moments in that company as well. And I even think during the pandemic he called some shows on his own, and it just reminded us how good he was. Like, I mean, and how good he is. Like Jim Ross is still, for me, is the best to ever do it. Batista says Hollywood is a cakewalk compared to WWE. I guess he hasn't got to take bumps every 5 seconds.
Exactly, he's got someone else to do the stunts for him. Yeah, no, I saw an interview with him this week, and he turned around and said that like he was like when he left WWE, he was almost broke again before he started doing wrestling, before he started doing Hollywood. And I'm like, I thought wrestlers got paid a good amount of money. I don't know, like I don't know whether it's a case of he was out of work for maybe too long, but yeah, look, man, look, you ain't got to take your own bumps in Hollywood. You, do you know what I mean? You get looked after, you get food provided. Do you know what I mean? It's you just got to remember some lines, really, innit? And he's pretty good at doing that.
Certainly is indeed, absolutely. If you enjoyed the video so far, hit that like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well, all that good stuff.
Here's a controversial one for you.
Go on.
I prefer Batista in movies over The Rock.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't have a preference.
And I think that's personally down to Batista, because Batista, don't get me wrong, he's been in some crap, but a lot of his stuff he does specifically because of the role, not because of, oh, we're going to pay you this amount of money. Like, if you think to him being in roles like Guardians of the Galaxy, he's one of the best characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's not
Yeah.
a main character. He is a supporting role, and he just has these very iconic roles that I enjoy a lot more than maybe 90% of the Rock's films.
Yeah, I mean, I love Guardians. That probably is, if you put me that against the Rock films, I'd probably pick Guardians. So, but I've probably
Guardians
not
is
seen enough of
number
everything
one.
else. It is awesome, to be fair. RJ says he's helped develop Timeless Tony Storm, but doesn't take sole credit for the gimmick. Shows there must be some other influences as well, including Tony Storm herself. Mickey James claims that LFG has been renewed for 3 more years. That's a big damn deal. Certainly is indeed. Have you watched any of the LFG? I haven't.
I've seen some of it where, like, there's been some controversial stuff where one of them's going into business for himself, and Bubba Ray's been ripping him a new one, and Mickey James has been there, and Undertaker's been there. There's been some good stuff on it, and I know that there's been, like, it's almost like a competition because they're sort of getting rid of them every week. And I know there was a female wrestler that Undertaker was particularly fond of that got booted out, and so I've seen a couple of bits on TikTok of like the emotional like connection that Undertaker has with this female wrestler. And I've not really watched it because it is like there's not enough time in the week to watch it all. Like, I don't even watch Evolve, and Evolve has got some wrestlers in there that I know, like, do you know what I mean? Kylie Ray, and I just haven't got time to watch it all, man.
Unfortunately not. Timothy Thatcher, I learned, was in there when he was in NXT the other week in the Battle Royal. I was like, he's there again. I just didn't even know. So yeah, it's too much. It's too much to keep up with these days, especially when trying to make content as well alongside of it. Obviously, you spend so much time doing that. So yeah, it doesn't really give you the opportunity to sit and watch at the same time. Pierce says, finally going to give Nia Jax her flowers since her return. Proved so much in the ring, so many good matches, and most importantly, not injured anyone. Yeah, it's good stuff. I think Nia Jax has had a fantastic run since coming back to WWE, and I actually really enjoyed the match with Tiffany.
We said last year, especially when they made her Queen of the Ring, like, this was destined to be Nia Jax's role. Like, the way that Nia Jax was being portrayed on TV, it was just a great bit of character work for her to go with. Obviously, the whole Tiffany Stratton thing. Yeah, she's definitely had a better run the second time around.
I'd certainly agree. Have to agree 100%. Pierre says Jacob Fatu is the future. All gas, no break. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I'm interested to see, because they've renamed Jeff Cobb. What's his name? JC Mateo, I believe they've renamed him to.
Yes.
It's not the greatest name, but hey, I'll take it. And like, we all know what the JC stands for, so they can technically still call him Jeff Cobb. So I'm sure, but yeah, I don't know what the whole goal is with that, but like, Jacob Fatu has already established himself as a massive star.
Certainly did. I found this comment down way down below here. We've got El Grande Britannicano in the house. This is about JC's new name, of course, and it's a spin-off Quader name, Lucha Underground. Doesn't hate it.
Grande Britannicano.
It's a great username.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Great. It is very, very good.
It's not
yeah. You sure? Ray says, who is your favorite champion in WWE, AEW, and TNA right now? And Ray just wants to say Tony Storm's got the best gimmick of all wrestling right now.
Who is my favorite champion at the minute? I don't know, really. That's quite a tough one. I mean, I could easily say El Grande Americano as the speed champion could easily be my favorite at the minute, but unfortunately he's not on TV. I'm going to say Obafemi, because Obafemi is a guy that I will watch NXT for specifically for every week, because he is great in the ring, on the mic, everything he does at the minute.
Love that. It's a really good answer. Favorite champion right now in WWE, when you go through all the names of who actually comes holding gold, I will say my favorite champion right now in WWE is, I think it's Lyra Valkyria. I'm enjoying her run as IC champ, and I think that title is meaning more and more as weeks go on. They're actually making it more prestigious and feel more important. So I'll go with Lyra there. AEW, now providing that I'm actually not a month behind, so I could be wrong with the names I give with the lost titles. Let's just say, for me, I think probably Tony Storm is the right answer. To be fair, right now it's definitely John Moxley. Moxley just drives me mad. I'm so bored of it. TNA, it's Joe Hendry, isn't it?
It has to be done. It really, like he's the guy that's sort of taking over the wrestling world at the minute, and then again, like he came onto the scene last year, made a name for himself, died down a little bit, but then this year he's just re-elevated himself. So yeah, he kind of is top guy at the minute from them.
Another great interview with Chris Van Vliet as well, worth checking out. Kicking Leo says, I feel that Judgment Day story might get Roxanne Perez versus Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. I have to wait and see if that would materialize or not.
Wouldn't be against it.
Wouldn't be against it at all. Certainly, especially it leads to that Finn Balor Judgment Day group that we
Has Roxanne Perez been drafted to Raw? Because I know Julia is officially on SmackDown. I don't think they've actually announced Roxanne yet, have they?
They have not. I'm guessing it's imminent at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like I said, I'm just to talk about your Finn Balor faction. We talked about it previously. That sure, as long as it makes sense story wise, I'm all for it.
Certainly, indeed. Leo says, I would say Sami Zayn, Liv Morgan will win the Rumble next year. Agree with those picks. Sami versus Seth, Liv versus Charlotte as the picks for matches at Mania.
No, Liv versus Charlotte. No. Liv versus anyone apart from Liv versus Io. There we go.
Or Liv versus Tiffany. Let's go there for a minute. I'll go with that. And Sami versus Seth makes a lot of sense, but Sami versus Jay could be a lot of fun.
Sami versus Drew as well.
There's a lot of
Drew
fun
wins that title off of Jay. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, there's some good stuff to do there. Is Hank and Tank your favorite tag team in NXT? Steve?
Yes, because Frexium are no longer in NXT, so it is Hank and Tank now. I think those guys are comedy gold, and do you know what I mean? Give them a microphone, they will sell anything, and they're pretty good in ring as well.
Totally agree with that, and I will also go with the controversial question of: is there any other tag teams in NXT? There might as well not be.
Dark State. Well, they're a 4-piece. You've got the Culling. You've got, you could have had the D'Angelo family, but they're no longer together. One of them's been released. One of them's turned his back on him, and the other one's locked in a safe house at the minute. So yeah, there's one or two. I'm sure Malik, and what were their names?
Oh, it's Blade and Anofa, yeah. But I knew there was one.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I know. I was just trying to generally think off the top of my head if I could actually think of any. But yeah, I don't think Blake and Anofi or Blade and Anofi have been on TV for about 6 months. So I wouldn't even count them as a tag team anymore.
Absolutely not. There's OTM as well, but it's not the wrestling podcast. It's the just the tag team.
If only.
I prefer the podcast, to be honest. Alan says, really big week of wrestling. Yes, indeed. Under Siege as well is next week. Mean good. Throwing some Swedish there. TNA Saturday night's main event, NXT Battleground, Double or Nothing. I'll probably get that watched by July.
Probably, because it's going to take you long enough to do it. And then don't get me wrong, you've got what else have they got coming up? Is it Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide is like the first week of June?
Yeah.
So, and it's like there's so much coming up, man. Like, can I just have a break?
We need to get paid more.
Definitely. Need to get paid, to be honest, but yeah.
We're not expecting you lot to do it. Don't worry. We're very happy with you guys watching. We just wish YouTube.
If there is a sponsor out there that would like to sponsor this podcast and pay us to do this, that would be really nice.
Someone clip this moment. When Jordan Grace will be on the main roster, I think she'll be a big start. Yeah, I think you are right. I think there's big things coming in her future. If those were to be the ones that win the Rumble, would it be a good decision? How would you set up those feuds and really get the crowd invested? I mean, Sammy would just make sense because of the fact
Sammy writes itself.
Yeah, Sammy writes itself. It's the underdog story, isn't it? That's simple as that.
He genuinely needs to be the baby face though, because the way they built him up, not in WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 40 when he come out against Gunther, and they had Chad Gable backstage with him, they had Kevin backstage with him, and as soon as they did that, I was like, oh my god, I kind of want Sammy to win now. I did want Gunther to win, but as soon as Sammy had that entrance, I was like, I want Sammy to win, and he has that destined underdog babyface story to win. And like I said, I think for me, I think if it's not KO as champion, Drew, I think is perfect. I think if Drew is champion and everything with the bloodline, that ties in perfectly for WrestleMania.
I like all that. I mean, the thing is, I will say differently. Sammy has this thing of, I can be a world champion. I can do it. I would be fun if he was to take on Jey Uso, because like Jey Uso has been in the same boots and he has done it. And I just would love the idea of the seed of doubt being in Sammy. He's had the underdog story, and then all of a sudden he then cheats in the wrestling main event against Jey Uso. He's supposed to be his brother as well, just to play the story further. I don't know. That would be a fun way that I would like to go with it. But
And then
alternatively,
Jay can turn around and say Sammy's not being very Usy.
exactly. Got it. Nailed it. I can't improve that any further. And for Liv, yeah, I mean, obviously she wins the Rumble, then she finally has that moment of, I suppose, redemption. If you can start another redemption story if you want, and take it from there. But
I think for me, she'd also have to be a babyface, because I think like she's like all those times she's been the bridesmaid, never the bride. And like if she comes in from number 1 next year and wins it, I don't really want that, because I think that's the last couple of years that's been such a big thing. Like the number 1, number 2 coming in and winning it. I say that I can't actually think of, like, I think Belair's been one of the few to come in at number 2. I think Ripley won it at number 1 or whatever. It should have been Liv to come in at 1 and win it. But I think ultimately Liv is just one of them people that's been the bridesmaid. She needs to be the bride, and it kind of fits a babyface run. I don't know. That's just me personally.
I'll have to see how it will go down. But yeah, I'm enjoying her as a heel right now. I wouldn't transition it back just yet. But Liv has a fan base, and it's a strong fan base. So I would say that if it gets to a point that's undeniable, then you switch it back. But perhaps maybe then it's a blurred lines of the heel character that's likable with baby faces as well. Pierre asking if you prefer Paul McCartney or Elton John.
I'd have to say I'm a bigger Beatles fan than I am an Elton John fan.
I would go Elton John just as a personal preference of the two. But do you prefer Paul McCartney better in the Beatles or Wings?
I can't say I know any Wings songs off the top of my head, so I'd have to say Beatles, unfortunately. If you played them, I would probably know them, but there's a lot more Beatles songs that I prefer a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the Beatles, so I will say the Beatles for me in that person one. So can't buy me love. Sid says Kevin Owens has not undergone neck surgery.
Oh, okay.
Says he's hoping to get clarity about the injury in the next few weeks. Well, whatever happens, do hope that he has a speedy recovery. We do miss KO.
Definitely, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Fingers crossed it doesn't turn out to be something worse. But yeah, hopefully all the best for him, man.
Who is your favorite of these two, Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn?
It's always going to be KO, man. Kevin Owens, no matter what he does in wrestling, babyface, heel, comedy, serious, I love everything that guy does. And the fact that he is the size and shape he is and the stuff that he can do in a ring, it's almost like my favorite superheroes are like the Punisher and Batman, because they're real people that, like, they don't need superpowers. They're just guys with either a lot of money or a lot of weapons that can genuinely do this stuff. And KO for me is like, he is essentially to me a wrestling superhero. He's a guy that shouldn't be able to do the things that he can do, but he does do them.
I love that explanation there of why. I mean, KO for me is my answer as well, just because he's just cooler as well. Like he's just naturally so funny. He's great at being the evil heel. His character work, just for me, I am attached to everything that Kevin Owens does in a wrestling ring, whether it's on the mic, ringside, whatever.
I really want to see him interact with Elijah now. We've had Elias, we've had oh man, I forget the other one now.
Ezekiel.
I really wanted to Ezekiel. Yeah, I really want to interact with Elijah, and I want that trio, that story. I think it was so funny.
Had KO not been injured right now, I feel they would have done that and brought him down 100%. To NXT. It just would have been 100%. So funny. We can now officially welcome El Grande Briticano into the house as well. Absolutely.
It's Mexican and English. It's weird.
It's beautiful. Spanish. Keep it coming. Roy, that's my man here. Wrestling VHS tapes at Boots. About boot sales back in the day. Yeah, God, I love it indeed. The good old trading days. Byron says that here's a record I'm going to run, y'all. Seth Rollins has been a heel for 100% of his career. Just found out this today. I mean,
no,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree.
No, I think especially when he was the only person to technically win a match against Roman Reigns, when he, like I said, when he come out of the Rumble in Shield gear, he was babyface then, and yeah, there's ample opportunity. I think he bleeds the line with Tweener a lot. maybe that's possibly it. But there's definitely been times when he's been babyface.
Absolutely. He's
When
definitely.
he was the first world champion, when he was the first heavyweight champion, when they
Yeah.
brought the belt back, he was massive babyface.
I feel I get why I know where Byron's trying to go with that, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's selling. I'm just not buying. I'm unfortunately Byron on this one. But Roy says, will we see Lana return? If she does, hope it's a manager, not as a wrestler. It's a legend still. She's signed, so I'm guessing if she is going to be around, it'll be in a crowd.
I don't, like I said, unless she has a spot, maybe teaching some of the NXT stars to put on a good fake accent. I don't know. Never really particularly was a fan of her ring work, but then again, I think that's because she never got enough time in the ring to develop. So I think that's more down to being booked more than anything.
Certainly, indeed. Pierre wishing Jim Ross all the very best, and we send the same wishes as well. We wish him the very best. El Grande reckons that Seth Rollins wins the world title in 2025, going with Sami Zayn to win Money in the Bank this year, going for Naomi to win the women's Money in the Bank. Ray says that would we like to see Jacob Fatu versus Jeff Cobb or JC Mateo? Yes, we would. I think it's going to happen probably before SummerSlam.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Seth Rollins' first heel run, 2012 to 2014. Second heel run was 2014 to 2015, and then 2019. You'll see there's a big gap in the middle there. 2016. Yeah. He wasn't injured for 3 years.
Yeah. No, well, he blew his knee out for a bit, but when he came back, he was definitely babyface.
Absolutely, 100%. He's been babyface for about half of his run. Yeah, absolutely. Gunther has gone about the name change earlier on. We brought this comment earlier on about the JC Mateo. So it worked for Gunther, can work for JC. It certainly can indeed.
I still prefer Walter, though. I think Walter had such a. I don't know. I prefer it over Gunther.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Walter, I've got used to Gunther now. I've got used to it. So I think I'm okay with it now. But probably Walter back in the day. We are going to try and get through these last comments in the next sort of 7 minutes. Most everyone gets through their comments just because we're getting to the hour and a half stage now. And Eurovision was last night, so I am fooked. Ray says, I think WWE should give the fans what they want. Jacob Fatu, babyface, keep the fans cheering him. I think it's coming. They've started it off. You could really feel it on SmackDown this past week.
Tweener for me, he needs to be that bad guy that everyone loves. He's like an Austin at this. He's like a 99 2000s Austin at this point. Oh, and by the way, I'm so glad UK got nil points from the public vote because that was rubbish.
It got jury points though.
No, I'm talking about public vote because generally it was a terrible song, and I don't listen to the jury, the jury's voting. That's all politics. That's rubbish.
Absolutely. Did you get a chance to listen to Armenia? Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, I was quite offended by the fact that you said it sounded like Imagine Dragons because I thought it was horrible. That guy was dreadful, and like whoever wrote that song, they needed to never write a song ever again because it was just trying to make words rhyme together that just didn't happen. I was not a fan of it. And when you went to me, it kind of sounds like Imagine Dragons. The music, maybe. The singing, definitely not.
Maybe not the singing. No, it's just the fact when it goes into the chorus bit. I was with it, but I did hear a better comparison to it. I'll give Jonesy the shout for this one. Adam Rose's theme song back in the day in WWE.
Don't you dare insult Adam Rose's theme tune. That was a great song. I used to love that entrance, man. Yeah, it was great, man. Don't ever insult Adam Rose's music. It was well good.
I liked Armenia. I had no problem with it. I'm okay with that comparison. But yeah, still should have been Sweden. Anyway, we'll move on. Who was your favorite wrestler turned movie star?
Oh,
could be
it probably has to be. It probably has to be Dave. I think I've seen Dave in a lot of stuff that I've really enjoyed him being in. That, to be fair, Cody's not been bad in the stuff. Like whenever I've seen him in like The Flash, he's been good. I didn't mind Chris Jericho even when he was in the new Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I thought he was hilarious in that, but I'd probably have to say Dave.
I will go with.
I'm trying to think of it, like, you put me in the spot because I don't really want to turn around and go Rock, and I don't really want to Austin. I like the Austin films, but I just don't think it was ever Austin's dream of being an actor. And Yeah, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Wrestlers now that become actors.
Yeah. I always enjoyed Paul White as Captain Insano. I'll just throw that out there. It's just something different. But yeah, probably Big Dave at this
It
point.
definitely is Hogan, because Hogan did some absolute garbage films when in his early career.
Absolutely. And Newball said, don't get me started on Rockstar and in Doom movie, Rampage, two of the worst video game
Hey,
adaptations.
Doom was good for that 60 seconds when they did the first person thing. Otherwise, yeah, I agree with you. The film is garbage.
There you
John
go.
Cena? Is John Cena one of the best ones? I'll tell you what, I think John Cena has the best range when it comes to acting, because he does serious, he does comedy, he does a lot. Like him as the DC character, the Peacemaker, is funny. When he's in like Cop Blockers, he's hilarious. And then you put him in serious stuff and he's really good as well.
Yeah, what was the one? Cock Blockers. What was that actually called? Was it just Blockers?
It was called it was called Blockers, I think. Or maybe, yeah. And it was just that he was a parent where he was trying to stop his teenage daughter from losing her virginity at prom night or whatever it was. And it's hilarious, man.
That is a funny movie. That is a really funny movie. Have you seen Batista and James Bond's Spectre film? I haven't. But I haven't done anything. Questions.
I've only seen a couple of if I've seen a Daniel Craig Bond film, it is Casino Royale. It's the one I watch religiously because I love it. But I probably have seen Spectre. I just haven't seen. I'm not a big Bond film fan, if I'm honest. They're all kind of the same. It's just guy turns up, drinks a martini, shoots a couple of bad guys, sleeps with the woman, and never sees him again. Do you know what I mean? It's just a Bond film, so it's the same synopsis every time.
There you go. That's why I'm not really a big Bond fan. Controversial take. Joe, I'm doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for checking out the video. Hope you are well.
I'll tell you what. I'm just reeling off a list of names here of people who have been wrestlers that have been in films, and you hear some of them, and you're like, Dwayne Johnson, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Batista, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Piper's good.
He was, Adam Copeland, Steve Austin, Triple H, Andre the Giant, Jesse Ventura, Kevin Nash, Paul White, Savage, Goldberg, Chyna, DDP, Jericho, Taker, Punk, Keebler, Miz, Terry Funk, Randy Couture, Ronda Rousey, Randy Orton, Kane. There's loads of them. Shawn Michaels. There's loads of them that have been in films. Even Sheamus was in a film apparently, but I couldn't tell you what one.
The Great Khali.
Yeah, he's probably on this list. Big John Studd, Kofi Kingston, Bam Bam Bigelow was in the film as well, apparently.
Oh, interesting. Loads of them. Take over. Liv Morgan returning at Night of Champions, suggests Byron. We'll have to wait and see if that will be the place that she does return. El Grande says, I want to give Dominic Mysterio his flowers. Most improved wrestler in his opinion. Watch him in 2025. The rocket for him will be high. Baby first turn is going to be cinema, as the kids say online. See, senor.
It's not a case of he's most improved wrestler. You've just caught up to how awesome he is, because I've been saying it for 2 years. He was my wrestler of the year for 2023. I think it was 23 or 22. So you're just catching up to what I already knew.
He's having a great time at the moment. And I will say that face turn is going to be amazing when it happens. And I just hope everyone turns on Rey Mysterio as well at the same time. Poor Rey has to retire and being booed, but yeah, it still will be quite
fun. According to Dom, he will never do a face versus hair mask, apparently.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Gutted.
That's a shame. That's 3 years of WrestleMania videos wasted. Predictions.
Definitely.
Never again. Leo says, I need Jimmy Uso to win the United States Championship this year, but it's hard to see him beating Jacob Fatu. Yeah, I find it quite hard. It felt easier when it was Shinsuke Nakamura.
I think by the end of the year, the only thing he'll be winning is the tag team titles again when him and Jay are back as the Usos.
Yeah,
controversial.
Yeah, it's true, though. Sid says, do you like Steve Cutler in WWE, or do you prefer Miss Steve Macklin in TNA? Macklin all day long.
All the way long. Yeah, man. Who is Steve Cutler? No, there's a reason why they're called the Forgotten Sons, because we want to forget them.
Absolutely. Forgotten Sons. I mean, it rings a bell, but yeah, I just can't make the connection. But yeah, I agree. El Grande says Bianca Belair to win the Rumble and Rhea's the champion. Your match for Mania 42. I am going to say that I believe that will be involved in Elimination Chamber to get there.
Yeah, they don't need to win the Rumble. Give the Rumble to someone new. Stop coming up with all these double Rumble winners and stuff. It used to be special when you only had like a handful of people that won it 2 or 3 times, and now they're just throwing it like it's candy, and it's like, here you go, you have a second Rumble win, you have a second Rumble win. No more.
I was really hoping we'd get through these comments quickly, but this next comment, there's no chance. No chance we're getting out of here quick with this next comment. Drew McIntyre or Ricochet for the X game of social media?
Drew McIntyre. Ricochet's already been bodied by Javon Evans. Why is this even a debate? This question's done. Move on. Drew McIntyre all the way.
Yeah, Drew would annihilate him.
If you've been bodied by Javon Evans, you lose already. Drew McIntyre wins.
There you are. I need to see those dance moves on the socials, Roy. Give us a tag for the Mickey J moves. Julia to win the women's Money in the Bank. Braun Breaker the men's for Mike. Mike, thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Sid says, do you remember Simon Dean, the Simon System? And if so, did you like his gimmick? I do remember it, and it was good comedy fun when it was around back in the day.
Wasn't it like I'm trying to think, it's like almost like an early Drew Gulak PowerPoint presentation kind of thing, wasn't it?
He was like he was like a fitness guy, and he had like the
yes, and he was like a stereotype of that that fitness guy that used to be on TV in like the 80s and 90s. Yeah, I know. Yes, I remember it very well now. Yeah, I do know it. Can't say I was a fan of it because, like I said, it's taken a lot to resurface the memories of it.
Absolutely. Teamed with Maven as well for a brief period on Sunday Night Heat. Leo says Bianca versus Liv could be interesting.
That's such a random thing to come out with. He teamed with Maven on a Sunday Night Heat. How did your memory work? Why did he just... He teamed with Maven on a Sunday Night Heat. Not even a pay-per-view of some sort of established name like a... Do you know what I mean? Not even like a No Mercy. It's like a Sunday Night Heat. That's just a random niche thing for you to throw out, man. That's such a niche thing. Go on.
Right, there's a method to this. So I'm subscribed to Maven's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Reference of Simon Dean, and their opponents was a random jobber and a jobber that would later become now top WWE star CM Punk.
Okay. Fair enough. Like I said, there is a reason, but it's like literally, it's just something I expect you to do when you randomly bring up Sunday Night Heat, and I'm like, I even forget Sunday Night Heat existed. Like, I forget what's it called now. Oh, what's the thing they do now? Main Event, yeah. I forget Main Event even exists, but you're bringing up Sunday Night Heat like it's like you've gone through the whole back catalogue, and I'm like, Sunday Night Heat has no stories. What are you watching it for? Because the wrestling ain't that good. That's why it's on Sunday Night Heat.
Oh, well, if you look at the color scheme of the background of this video, we're actually supporting Velocity for those 2000s viewers.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't believe it. Yes, I remember Velocity as well. That's terrible. Oh, that's so funny.
But it did introduce us to one Mr. Kennedy. I used to love watching. Literally, UK viewer, and would never really watch Velocity live or whenever it would be on. But it used to always go to the pub on a Sunday. You're from my way, so remember the old Maypole. Used to be Sunday nights, used to be there, a couple of pints, packet of crisps, Velocity would be on the screen. In the background, we're having a chat with the mates. It was always a good time. You see Kennedy on the screen. Brilliant.
That is just again such a niche. Like that's a like a, I won't say a childhood because you've obviously got to be a certain age to drink, but it's like a young adult memory. Do you know what I mean? That you would do, and it was like for the reason for you to remember that. It's amazing that we've talked longer about Velocity and Sunday Night Heat than we did about Drew McIntyre and Ricochet. By the way, that's how dumb that last. No offense, but it was a dumb argument. But yeah, it's like I'm sitting and gassed about Sunday Night Heat for the last 4.5 minutes.
If you're still with us, you're a real one. Thank you for sticking with us in this video. We appreciate you. As we went to go and see from Leo here, says Bianca versus Liv could be interesting. I think Liv organically could turn face like Bayley did last year, and her face turn throughout the build to Mania certainly could happen. I mean, Bianca obviously has gone towards that heel side as well. Also on a current break right now, and obviously when she comes back, I guess it will probably continue on with the Jade and Naomi stuff.
Yeah, I think the fact that Dominic will probably help Liv get over organically as a babyface as well because of how much he's loved at the minute. I think that in like those two being together in terms of story-wise will naturally also get Liv over as a babyface.
Certainly will indeed. Ray asking, are you a fan of Joe Tessitore as a commentator? Ray's favourite at the moment. Gotta say, He's really grown on me. I'm a big fan of him now. I wasn't as sold at the start, but he's really grown on me now.
Yeah, when he first come in, I was like, he's very NFL, like very sports commentator. Like I can see this guy doing like NFL, NHL, NBA, something like that. But yeah, he's definitely got a hell of a lot better as the months have gone on. Favorite, I'm still partially keen to a Michael Cole, and it's rude that I forget his name, the NXT commentator,
Vic Joseph.
Vic Joseph. Yes, yeah, Vic Joseph. Like, I've got a soft spot for Vic Joseph. So like he's always been consistent. I've never had a problem with Vic Joseph's commentary work, and like I think he does solid work every time.
I love listening to Nigel McGuinness right now. Whenever I have the opportunity to hear him in AEW, I have a very happy eardrums, let's just say, during that period, because he always makes things so entertaining to listen to.
You'll be excited then when you do your catch up of AEW then about Nigel McGuinness.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Ray says the UK song was rubbish in the Eurovision Song Contest. I think a lot of the viewers were actually asking themselves, what the hell just happened?
Exactly.
I'm here all week. El Grande says, who will be Paul's third man in the stable? I'm guessing Paul Heyman's. Suggested here Austin Theory, Ethan Page, or Miles Bourne. Thoughts on Paul Heyman's group with Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker?
Theory is the obvious one. I think that a lot of the fans want, which makes a lot of sense. Ethan Page, I don't think he needs it, although it would be really cool. I think Ethan Page on the microphone can get himself over no matter what. Miles Bourne, again, I'm captivated by when he speaks, and I'd like to see him do more promo stuff. So that's I'm down for all three of them, but I think logically Theory probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, Theory makes the most sense. There's the history of Paul Heyman as well from Evolve days as well back in 2018. So that's going to be my answer with that one. But like the idea of someone else getting the rub as well, a young superstar to get that opportunity. Obviously, Ethan Page is someone that's more established, and like you said, I don't think needs it, but certainly is a good way to bring him in. I still feel Miles Bourne, although he's got all the potential in the world, he's just had his breakout moment. Let's let him become let's let him get big in NXT first before we bring him up to mains at this point, I would say. Alan says Seth Rollins was the face of the NXT when he first became champion. He was a face of the Shield when he feuded with the Whites and Evolution. Kingslayer, Beastslayer as well. Absolutely true indeed, Alan. I agree with that. And of course, and his goofy period as well, when everyone was singing his song until just a few months ago. Ray says if he was a wrestler, he would be Mr. Pacemaker. Oh, because he has a pacemaker.
I think there might be some health concerns that would probably stop you from wrestling, but I respect it.
I respect it as well, indeed. Sid's asking if the weather's been nice in Sweden. Not today. It's been raining today, but all in all, the last month or so, pretty good. It's ranging between about 12 and 20 in between that bracket. So, but
Can't complain with that weather.
No, not at all. Not at all. Sid says the fitness guy that you're talking about in the 90s was Mr. Motivator on GMTV.
Yeah, no, I know Mr. Motivator, but there was a famous American guy with she used to have big curly red hair. I can't remember his name now, but that's the one that initially, because obviously it's US wrestling. That was the one I'm brainwashed to, but I do know Mr. Motivator, yeah. I think he's still going as well as a personal fitness instructor. That's insane.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a fun one back in the day to watch back in the 90s. Byron says, once Money in the Bank feels out, it would be easy to determine the winner of the match. Every money in the bank, even the bad ones, are entertaining. Completely agree, but that's what this one's been quite fun because we've just completely gone in dark before we know anything about the match apart from Alexa Bliss and Solo Sikoa. So we could look back at this in time and say, well, what the hell were we thinking? What the hell just happened for the Eurovision fans? Or we could say, we got it spot on before everything was even announced. So we'll have to wait and see how it will play out.
I found out who that thing guy was, by the way. It's Richard Simmons. It was the one I was thinking of from the 80s.
Absolutely. NXT.
That guy, if it comes up, that guy.
Oh, nice. There you are. You versus El Grande Predicano. What else can I confirmed, apparently?
Sure, why not?
Well,
hey, give me books. I'll be there.
I'll be in your corner. We are a team.
Yeah, there we go.
We're a team.
I've already got my entrance music picked out.
Absolutely. Thing is, though, I do wish Predicano well in all the other matches that he takes part in, but going to take on my tag team partner. I've got to go for NXT, haven't I? Sis says, did you like Mr. Anderson's arsehole gimmick in TNA? I did. It was fun back in the day.
I didn't watch it again. Same thing. Didn't get because TNA back in the day used to be like you had to subscribe. It used to be online only. You had to pay a subscription for it. So I never used to watch a lot of it. Like I see more of TNA now than I ever did before, just because the YouTube channel puts up a lot of the old stuff for free.
Yeah, which always helps. I saw it was on when it was on Wrestling Challenge. No, that's 1992 for you. But it was on Challenge TV at one point.
Was that one of the old Freeview channels that we used to get over in the UK? Yeah, and it used to be on like stupid o'clock in the morning or something like that. I never remember. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's one of the Freeview channels over here gets MLW for some reason as well. It's really strange. Like, you don't realize it until you actually look for it, but you can find it over here in the UK. It's such a niche place to find it though.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And then if Braun does not win Money in the Bank, should win the Royal Rumble. Story can be Seth, who's eventually wins the world title, tries to stop Braun Breaker. Can be like Triple H and Batista build from WrestleMania 21. I love the sound of that, especially by that point as well, because then it sort of feels like that group then has been established for a while. You like to have these groups together for at least a year or so. Give Braun all the advice, experience, all the rub of working with Seth and Heyman, and when the time is right, pull the trigger, and you've got that brand new megastar then, Braun Breaker.
I like the idea of it. Everyone wants these two to break up so quickly. Give me some time to breathe, man. Like, there's just some long-term storytelling. Like, and plus, you're ruining my dreams of getting Seth versus Punk main event in Night 2 of Mania next year. I want to see that before we get Braun versus Seth.
Yeah, I want to see that before Braun versus Seth as well. But I think people just see the end game. I think that's why they don't think they necessarily want it right this second. I think they just, we see it.
Well, winning the Rumble next year.
Hey, that could be towards the end game. That's not tomorrow. I mean, the Rumble's about.
We'll do that the Rumble after.
Yeah,
let's do the Rumble that's 21 months away, not the one that's 9 months away.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And El Grande Bridicano says his theme would be a God Save the King with a Lucha remix. Gotta love it indeed. What would be your theme mix?
Fuel by Metallica.
Oh, nice. What a good song choice.
Something that just hits hard straight away and something that just gets you pumped.
Absolutely. And last question, would you like to see the Big Show wrestle again? Only if it's on a retro.
Yeah, only if I have to watch it on a rewind.
Otherwise, politely, no. And yeah, just see. I think you could be a team at the end of this now. No opponents needed anymore. Mania 43, let it breathe for Rollins versus Breaker. So there you go. You think? Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. You've all been amazing. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share it, and subscribe as well. Thank you all for your questions, your wonderful comments, and predictions as well.
Share a like for the fact that we banged on about for Sunday Night Heat longer than we did about Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre.
Certainly, indeed. And Velocity. If you liked Velocity back in the noughties and you appreciate the background, which is meant to be Money in the Bank, but for screw it, it's going to be Velocity now. Then make sure you hit that like button. Drop in a comment as well your favorite memory from Velocity. Then if people listen to this on like delay, we know you really watched this the whole way through. Then boom, that's your thing for the comments at the end.
Your favorite memory from Velocity? I just remember the name. That was about it.
It could be anything. It could be the theme song. It could be the fact of the birth of Mr. Kennedy. It could be the fact that one day Christopher Daniels was an extra. Who cares? Just let us know what it may or may not have been. Could be a recap of SmackDown with JBL as the champion, because God damn, we see a lot of that back in the day. But look after yourselves and each other. I think it's time that I get some sleep. We'll see you for the next video. And like I said, predictions week coming up for us on the channel now. So keep an eye out for Saturday night's main event. Keep an eye out for Battleground for NXT and Double or Nothing as well. And heck, if this time Under Siege will come out as well, but that'll probably be in shorts format. Look after yourselves and each other. And yeah, we'll see you for the next one.